It was very new. I came in an era with my first two children. My mother kind of dominated it, and I never really made any major decisions. It was almost like you were my first child. So I was like really, really afraid. All I knew was dress you up like a baby doll. Every day I would put a new outfit on you and take a picture of you. I had no idea of what parenting was supposed to be.
Do you feel like you dominate my parenting any?
No, I don't. I think that you could say that because of the way I was so domineering with you growing up, which translates into me being protective. Because of what I had went through so much, I did my best to guard you from, or I called an attempt to guard you from going down the path I went. I thought being strict and sticking to a set of rules would work. In reality, I really didn't know what would work, so it was trial and error.
Since we're here to talk about incarceration and things like that, and you have been incarcerated, what role did that play in your motherhood with us?
Not so much as you as it did the first two. I didn't feel the loss of it with the first two because, like I said, my mother was always domineering, and it's like they were her children anyway. So when I was gone, I never really felt that there was a bond. I missed them more, and I don't know if it's because I was, whenever you're away from something, you want that you took for granted so much more.
And I do definitely think that of the three of us, me and you are the closest compared to my siblings. Do you think that's because you were incarcerated with them and not with me? Like, do you think you maybe grasped onto our relationship more?
I think I got it. I didn't have it when I was 17 when I had my first child. I was 19 when I had my second, and I was 35 when I had you. I had gotten it at that point. I didn't have it then.
What actually led to you being incarcerated?
I was in high school. I met a group of girls, and I was an outsider, so of course my first thing was to try to fit in. So of course I never did any of the things that they were doing. You know, they didn't go to class, they took their lunch money, they would ante up on things to drink and instead of lunch, and they were like taking people's wallets and their credit cards and their IDs, and they would go and get the ID turned over into their name. So they looked at me and said, well, we can put a wig on you. You're light-skinned, you got the freckles, you can pass for people that were foreign, or you didn't have to go do all that. So that's how I did it, and then I would get away with it. They would believe I was whoever was on that ID.
Okay, so what was the longest amount of time you ever did in jail?
10 years.
10 years.
I got on a 5-year sentence.
You've been to jail, but it never registered to this moment. 10 years, it's a long time.
Absolutely. It was a 5-year sentence. It started off just how, and it wasn't a real bad criminal thing. It was for, I think it was for shoplifting. You got 2 to 5 years. Of course, I got the 5 year, the 2 years. I violated the parole. They let me come home. I still wanted to try to fit in. I still wasn't being, and I don't want to say being made to be the mother. For whatever reason, I did not have the natural instincts of being a parent when I was 17 or 18.
I mean, because who would at 17 or 18?
So I didn't have the instinct, go home and get your child first. I went and found the cool people again. Oh, we can do it again. I get caught again. So you go back and do the 5 years. I get out from that, not even a month or a month later, I got caught again. Thank God they had those programs in the jail. Went through Gateway. So I was in there for the last 2 years of it, and that's actually when I started trying to be a parent, but I believe at that time it had got a little too late because my children were coming of age, and they had been so used to my mom that I never could really get them back.
So do you feel like with them that you missed any big stuff?
Oh, absolutely. I missed everything. I missed planning for graduations. I missed the proms. I was there, but I missed them because I didn't orchestrate them. It was not my achievements. So absolutely, I missed it. I came home and I found my son. He just looked at me and he said, I left him. By this time he had to be 14 or 15. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah, I missed a lot of events. None of them, I didn't get them through anything that I got you through. So they didn't have that, and I know that they feel some type of way about that. And because I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, well, and I mean, for me, it's like I understand and it's okay, and I get that could be different for them because they were actually there and I didn't necessarily have that part of you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I spent my fair share of time with my grandma, but for me it was always I'm just here until my mom gets back type of thing. It was never, I don't really ever feel like I was left, even with the, drug and alcohol addictions. I never really, in that moment, it could easily be felt like you're left, but being older, I definitely feel like I understand more now that, it was a lot of stuff going on, and it wasn't like, I never get up and feel like you woke up one morning and was like, I'm out of here on these kids. I never feel like that. Mm-hmm. And I just want to know, do you think that my brother and sister think like that?
I think they have a wound that's probably going to never, ever close. I think that though, in spite of that, they follow my lead. Because when I'm good, I'm good.
I feel like parenthood is definitely a two-way street. I feel like it shouldn't always be moms and dads there for the kids. I feel like it is fair for that to be flipped sometimes. To a degree, I failed you.
But what saved my life was having you. What I wanted most for you is I can at least get a chance to see the good in me. And I see that when I look at you. You're everything every good part of me I never got to see before. I always looked in the mirror and I saw the lady that went to jail. Saw the lady that was on drugs, that chose grief over their children. I see all that. But when I look at you, I see the girl that went to college. You were everything that I knew that I should have been doing, but I didn't have the...
To see who you are today, I feel like you definitely have no shame. I feel like if anything, you should be prouder than people that don't have a past, because you came all the way from underneath bottom. You didn't just start at the bottom and get this high up to where you are. You had to dig through the bottom and break through that. And I definitely think that's worth being proud of. If you could ideally make your memory, how would you like to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as being a good mother and a good grandmother, a kind person. I want to be remembered for my incarceration. I want to be remembered for my overcoming it, for my drug addiction, for my overcoming it, because I want the future to see that people can change, and if we have the necessary tools, everybody's going to be all right.